Okay, I have some issues with my voice as I'm a bit sick, but let's try to build a short demonstration how to use this Frappe.io. There are a lot of open data sources. We can get several data items and then we want to visualize them through maps as we did last week, or we can build some charts to show that we have this kind of a data and it leads to us this kind of a conclusion. JavaScript and browser environments are excellent tools for these kind of things. So let's first check how this Frappe thing works. So if we would be using Node.js, we could install it through npm, but as in this course we are just using plain JavaScript. Let's just copy paste this line here and add it to our web application here, like that. And then we need some kind of a div that is going to present our chart. Now its ID is chart, and then here is some JavaScript. We can copy paste this to our JavaScript file and then let's see what happens. Nothing happens. Let's correct the URL and now we have some awesome chart here. Yeah, not that hard. So basically we have just labels, datasets and then the actual chart. But of course now we have just some sample data. We would like to use some real data. Let's get that, but let's first check this Frappe a bit more. So this is not the only chart type, this X-mix. There are bar charts, line charts, etc. And please read through this documentation. They give you the options to customize your charts and build, for example, this kind of a chart or this kind of a chart. There are plenty of options to help to visualize these charts. But next, let's get some data. So we have this Tilastokeskus in Finland. It's a service that is providing statistics, and there are plenty of statistics openly available. Freely, you can use them as you wish. Let's go and get some parliamentary election data. Here we have the data. So let's then see, this might be the correct thing. So now we can select what data we wish to get. So if you would want to present in all the municipalities the data, then you would select all the municipalities, of course, but in this case we have only interested in this whole country. So let's select that. Let's select all the years and not all the parties, as there are parties that have never got any seats in our parliament. So let's only select these parties that are pretty much right now in the parliament. I think there should be something like 8. Yeah, this is pretty much the all. I'm not taking the Liike Nyt because they have only one representative and it has been only one season. And then let's take the proportion of all votes and all candidates, not based on the gender. Let's see what we got. So now we have here the parties and the years for the whole country. Of course we could just copy paste this to Excel and work it with that data, but what we want is to get that data to our application. So let's use this API query for this table. So here is the URL and here is the JSON we need to provide with that query. So now we just get rid of this and start building from scratch. So first we will need this query. So let's copy paste this. This is the starting point of our application. Like that. We will need that. It's just a JSON object or JSON string, how you want to define it. Then let's build a method get data. It's an async function because we are going to use this fetch there. And first of all, we can have a URL variable here, and this is the URL we are going to use, like that. Then we need to build the fetch clause, so we get some kind of response. We'll wait it, fetch, and we are providing this URL as we have been done before, but we are also providing these other parameters to this fetch. So first we define that, as it says here, this call has to be post call, and this is usually straight a get call, but now we are making a post call, so we define that method is post. Then we define that we are sending some headers. JSON, and the body is going to be this our JSON string here, so we need to stringify that, and we are giving this JSON query as a string. Then we can check if this response OK status is not OK, then we just return undefined, or we just return nothing. Otherwise, we have the we can get the data, parse that to JSON format, and then we can return the data. So now we have a method to get this data from that API. We can of course check that we are going to, let's first have another method here called build chart, as we are building that chart. That's the idea here. So here first we want to get that data, and we get that data from that get data method, and we need to wait a bit, and then we can just console log that data, yes, like that, and let's call this build chart, otherwise our program would not start. Now we don't have anything. Let's see if we have errors here, or did we get something. We get undefined, so it's not working. We have a typo somewhere. Okay, yeah. So if response is okay, we are returning nothing. Of course, we need to do that. If response is not okay, we are returning undefined. So now we got the data, and now we can just start processing this data. Let's see what we actually got. So here are plenty of items. What we are really interested is, of course, this actual data, and it's one-dimensional array. Yeah, this looks bad. This is a two-dimensional, and this is only one-dimensional. Let's see. The first item is 17.7 and the second is 17.5. So we are getting this first and then this as a second item. So yeah, okay, and we have here 8 items in one row. Okay, maybe we can work with that. Then there are these dimensions. So what we are interested in this puolue thing, not actually that one, but this label thing. So here are the labels for the parties. This is something that is interesting, and then there is this year. We are probably also interested in this, and once again here we have the labels for the years. Here the first year is the oldest, but here the first values are the newest, so not the perfect match, so we need to work with that data a lot. So let's first get the correct values. So we need the parties, we need the values, we need the labels. And as these values here, these are not arrays, only this is here array. but these are just objects. So we need to parse those objects to the arrays. Like that, and now we can check that we are getting correct correct values. So let's first print parties, then labels, and finally the values. And let's get rid of these. So the parties, yeah, they are here, but as you can see, this is not an array, this is a object, so it's an issue. We need to modify it to the array. And then there are the years. Once again, that's an object, and the values is undefined because we have a here s which should have not been there. And this is an array. So let's first get these parties and labels to the arrays. We can use the object values for this. So it's taking these object values and it's providing us an array out of that. And now we have arrays. Now we have three arrays. This is something we can work with now. Let's get rid of these. We are getting the correct data. The next thing is to add correct values to the correct party. So let's just make a for each loop to these parties. And we are getting one party and its index in the array. And let's work with that. So let's first have an array party supporters or party support, which means that in this array we will have the right numbers from this array. There are plenty of numbers, so we are just taking the correct ones. Then we need to have a for loop. Let's just start from the beginning, and there are 10 years. So each party will have 10 values. So let's go this until this I is 10, and then just I plus plus. So very simple for loop. And then this party support, we will push correct values here, and we are taking the value from this our values. So values is an array. We are taking a correct value from there. It's I times 8 because we have 8 parties, and then plus the index, which means that the first value will be the first party, second value will be the second party, etc. So now we are getting the party support. And after that, in this our parties array, we use this index, what party we are working with, and make that as an object. So first we have a name there, and it's this party. We are already having here a party, so we are now modifying these parties that we are looping through. A bit dirty but working. And then we are giving these values, and they are the party support. But here is an issue. These numbers were from the 2009 until the 1983 or something. Yeah, 1983. So they were in the wrong order. So we need to reverse that, but we have a method for that already. So now it's working. And here is a missing comma. So now we are getting the data. Then we can just check that what we have. Now we have an array length of 8, so there are 8 parties, and each party has these values. Let's see. So for example, greens, the last value should, the first value should be the smallest one and it's getting bigger. Yeah, so we have correct values. So now we have the data. Then we need to use this data to build the chart. So let's first build the chart as it was present in the Frappe documentation that we are using in chart data. And this has two parts. It has labels. Guess what? We already have the labels. They are here. So there are 10 values. There are the years. So we can use them directly. We don't need to manually set them, but we can just use that value. And then we have the data sets. And guess what? We have here parties that have names and values. So we can use that. This was easy part. Now we have the chart data. Then the only thing is that we need to still build the actual chart. Now we are building the object. The first parameter is the ID. So we have this chart div there, and then we are giving a JSON object as a second parameter, and here we can set up everything. So first, for example, the title could be Finnish Parliamentary elections, like this. And then we have a data. Well, this is this chart data we have. We can use type for this. For example, this axis mixed, as it was tested in the example. Then we give some kind of height. Let's give it a 400 pixels, and I think this is pretty much enough. Let's see if we have any errors here. Yeah, we have errors. Yeah, this should be with lowercase letter. And now we have the data presented here in the chart. We have the years, and then we have the parties, and they all have different colors. But guess what? These colors do not reflect the real life. So I'm just going to copy paste some additional information here. Now we have the colors that the parties are actually using. So now the Keskusta, the center party, is using this green. So also Greens are using green, and for example Swedish party is using this yellow, so it's this one here, and the populist party, Perussuomalaiset, the Finns party, is using this other yellow color. Yeah, now it's working. So our Finnish democracy is relying on several parties, and we do not have any dictators here. We have several parties, but we can then work with this chart. So now we have this kind of a line chart. We could also have a, let's say, bar chart. Just changing one option and we are getting different values here. But this is not a very informative. So we can give additional options, bar options. Let's say that this is stacked. Now it's like a true. And this is much more informative. Or we can go back to the line chart, and let's get rid of this bar options. But instead we can set line options, as we are now using line chart. For example, are we really needing these dots here? Not really, no. So let's hide them like this. Yeah, so now there are no dots. It's probably better. We could also put some kind of a fill here if we would like to. Region fill 1. I'm not saying this is an informative, but you can do it like that if you wish, but let's keep it a 0. Yeah, so this is a simple example. We did 2 things. We got data from the API. Here is the URL, and now we did a post call there and send a body request defining what kind of a data we would like to get that from that API. So we did that kind of a call. Then we parsed the data, took the relevant items from the data and had to a bit modify those values as they were in the wrong order, and then we set the data in a correct format so that it could be utilized straight here in the chart as a chart data. And then we built a chart, and this is what we got. Not that hard, but this is something that you see in the news web page or at any other things. They are visualizing data and giving interaction to the website. You can go through the maps or you can go through the statistics, and this is how you are doing it. You are using some kind of a library, for example this Frappe, and you are just inputting data there, and then the user can see the visualization. Pretty nice.